The basic jazz blues 12-bar progression, key of B. A 1, 2, 3, 4. The 1, the 4, the 1, the 4, the 1, the 3, the 6, the 2, the 5, the 1, the 6, the 2, the 5, the 1. Let's break that down. Hey everybody, welcome back to Swiftlessons for another mini rhythm guitar tutorial. If you've been playing the basic 12-bar blues, that simple 1, 4, 5 progression, and you're starting to get tired of it, then the next step for you is to learn the basic jazz blues version of that 12-bar progression. It's built from the major scale, 7 notes in an octave, there it is in the key of B. From that scale, we can find each of the root notes for the chords that we have in the progression. So the progression's built from the first note of the scale, all right, B, we can call that the 1, the 4, E, the 2, C sharp, the 5, F sharp in this key, the 3, D sharp, and also the 6, G sharp. Okay, so 1, 4, 2, 5, 3, and 6. Those will be the bass notes or the root notes for each of the chords that we have in the progression. B7, E9, C sharp minor 7, F sharp 9, D sharp minor 7, G sharp 9. Okay, so we're going to learn each of those shapes. They're crucial for being able to play jazz blues and very transposable. If you learn it in this key, you're going to be able to play it in every single key up and down the fretboard. Okay, first, step number 1. I think it's very important and very helpful to first learn how to play the progression using only the root notes of the chords. Then you add in the harmonies. Okay, so let's do that. We're going to start with the 1 chord B. We're going to have that for a measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going up to the 4 chord for a measure. All right, that's E. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to the 1 chord for 2 measures. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, then back to the 4 chord for 2 measures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then back to the 1 chord for a measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, here's where it gets interesting. From here, we're going to go to the 3. Do, re, mi. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, you see how we had a split measure there? We went from 3 to 6. Okay, from there, we're on to the 2 chord for a full measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. To the 5 chord for a measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're finishing up with the turnaround section. The 1 chord, 1, 2. The 6 chord, 3, 4. The 2 chord, 1, 2. The 5 chord, 3, 4. And then back to the 1. From there, it all starts over again, or you resolve the progression. All right, for the end of the song. Okay, so we need to memorize that. It's very crucial for transposition, being able to switch keys on the fly. If you remember how to play the intervals of the progression, you can just move it to a different fret and apply the same harmonies for a quick transposition. Okay, so let's play through that entire 12-bar jazz blues progression in the key of B using just the bass notes now. Then we're going to learn how to harmonize it. Getting started with the B note. 1, 2, 3, 4, and B. 2, 3, 4. E, 2, 3, 4. B, 2, 3, 4. B, 2, 3, 4. And E, 2, 3, 4. E, 2, 3, 4. And B, 2, 3, 4. D sharp, G sharp, and C sharp. 2, 3, 4. F sharp, 2, 3, 4, and B. G sharp, C sharp, F sharp, and D. Okay, if you completely have that memorized, then you're ready to start adding the harmonies in. Dominant sevenths, 9 shapes, minor 7 chords, going up the fretboard through that progression. Okay, getting started with our first chord shape, B dominant 7. The 1 chord in the key of B. There's a lot of ways to fret this chord shape. I like to wrap my thumb over to the root note, have my index finger on the 7th fret of the D string, my middle finger on the 7th fret B, and my ring finger on the major 3rd of the chord, 8th fret G string. I need to mute the open strings, so the A string's muted, and also the high E string. B dominant 7. Now you could also fret this with your index finger on the low E string, or you could play it as a basic bar chord shape. All right, all very common in the blues. But for this lesson, I'm gonna stick with this thumb grip. All right, now onto the 4 chord. It's going to be a basic 9 chord shape. Another movable shape that you can use to play every single 9 chord in the book. I've got the 7th fret of the A string, I've got the 6th fret of the D string, and then my ring finger is gonna bar across the G string, B string, and high E string, the 7th fret. Okay, so we have the 1 chord, the 4 chord. Just practice going back and forth between those 2 shapes. If you can do that, then you're ready to learn how to play the 2 chord, okay? Because we're just gonna go up through this little pattern here. So the 2 chord is going to be turned into a minor 7th shape. I like to play it with my middle finger on the 9th fret of the low E string, and then my ring finger barred across the D string, G string, and B string, and if I like, I can also get the high E string in there. Okay, so the 1, the 4, the 2. All right, now you already know how to play the 5 chord. It's just going to be the E9 chord shape that you played for the 4 chord, up 1 whole step. Okay, so far you have the B7, the 1 chord, the E9, the 4 chord, the C sharp minor 7, the 2 chord, and the F sharp 9, the 5 chord. Okay, now we need to learn the shapes for the 3 and the 6th intervals. We're just going to take the exact same chord shapes that we had for the 2 and the 5 and just bring them up a whole step. That gives us D sharp minor 7 and also G sharp 9. Okay, so now I recommend that you just play through each of those chord shapes and then arpeggiate them to make sure that they're all ringing out crystal clear. Just like that. Okay, so practice each of those shapes, get them into your muscle memory, then we're ready to apply them to the 12-bar structure that we learned using just the root notes. Okay, applying some long strums to each chord shape, playing through that 12-bar jazz blues progression in the key of B. See if you can play along. A 1, 2, 3, 4, B7, 2, 3, 4, E9, 2, 3, 4, B7, 2, 3, 4, B7, 2, 3, 4, E9, 2, 3, 4, E9, 2, 3, 4, B7, 2, 3, 4, D sharp minor 7, and G sharp 9, and C sharp minor 7, 3, 4, F sharp 9, 2, 3, 4, and B. G sharp, C sharp, F sharp, and B7 brings you on home. Okay, great work everybody. Thus far, you've learned how to visualize the bass notes that we have for each chord using your knowledge of major scale intervals. The 1, the 4, the 2, the 5, the 3rd interval, the 6th interval become the chords B7, E9, C sharp minor 7, F sharp 9, D sharp minor 7, and G sharp 9. Now, if you can visualize those intervals and that shape that we have there, you can quickly transpose. For example, just put that on the 3rd fret and you have key of G. All right, from there you just apply the same exact chord shapes. That's the cool thing about the guitar. What works one place works every place. So applying those same intervals to the key of G and the same exact chord shapes to create G7, C9, A minor 7, D9, B minor 7, and E9. Okay, and you can apply the structure of the 12 bar to play G7, 2, 3, 4, the 4 chord, 2, 3, 4, the 1 chord, 2, 3, 4, 1 chord, 2, 3, 4, C9, 2, 3, 4, C9, 2, 3, 4, G9, 2, 3, 4, B, and E, and A minor 7, and D9, 2, 3, and the turnaround. Alright, just like that, you can see how easy it is to perform a jazz blues progression now in every key up and down the fretboard. Okay, the last stop for you guys is to practice adding in a little bit of rhythm. So taking a look at our first chord back in the key of B, we could apply a basic comping with downstrokes. These are going to be very short and staccato. Just kind of pumping the hand, never losing contact with the strings to make those strokes nice and short. You can even throw in some muted strums in between the strokes. It's a very good technique. Now, if you look at my demonstration, I threw in kind of a jump blues style rhythm. All right, that's simply going 1, 2, 3, 4, or strum, slap, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3 to the 4 chord, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, B7. All right, then for these chords, the split measures, just give them one single strum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and strum, and strum, and strum, and... Alright, just like that. Very good, everybody. Now you're playing an evolved version of your 12-bar blues. Now, there's actually a little bit more that you can add to this. Passing chords are a great way to bring out a little bit more emotion. There's also different variations of these chords that also add in a little bit of tension to the progression. So, if you want to learn a little bit more about playing jazz blues and making it sound more professional, click this card at the top corner.